it appears we have a third version of Test Track, and it has made its debut, not to the larger populace, but I guess during cast member previews, in which they were a little bit loose when it came to video recording and so forth, and, well, we basically have seen this attraction. Let's go ahead and get some of that up right now. Cast member previews of Test Track 3.0, begin this week at Epcot, June 23rd, 2025, and it looks like Test Track 3.0 full ride and queue from cast member previews, build your own car, removed among numerous other changes this June 28th, 2025. Folks on the panel, have you seen the third version of Test Track yourselves?
No.
I've seen the thing about LiDAR, and that's about it.
Yes. Well, let's go ahead and take a look-ski here. Went ahead and compiled some footage for us to review. You can see right there, that's the queue. I'll say this, the queue wasn't anything remarkable. Some people were saying that it was an improvement. I don't necessarily see it that way. In my opinion, I see a lot of bare walls and so forth. Go ahead, Culture.
This looks very similar.
Yeah, it looks similar to the original. No, that's all I was going to add. It's just this looks very similar to the original, except for those silly car console things. Make your own car while you're bored in line. Yeah.
Oh, the kids like those. I didn't like them, but the kids liked them.
See, that's the thing. I think the build your own car concept, well, definitely gimmicky if you're an adult. I think Jonas has a point there. For kids, I think it was a kind of a cool thing on what is an otherwise not that great a queue, and especially when you consider Test Track. Go ahead.
I'm against germ factories in line queues.
That's a fair point. Hey, yeah. Can't fault you for that. That's for sure.
Yeah. I don't like anything you got to touch.
Wasn't it shut down during COVID as well? They just had to.
Oh yeah.
We'll skip past that. Yeah.
I'm shocked that's not on your phone at this point. I'm shocked that's not on the Play Disney Parks app or something.
It should be, because they want you to do everything on your phone. So Imagineers, this is a chance for you to, make something on somebody's phone that would be worthwhile.
Well, especially because the build your own car part of it makes the line for Test Track terrible. It makes it infinitely longer.
Yeah.
And if you were able to just do it on your phone as a family in line, I think that it would move people through this attraction a lot faster.
But the thing that really gets me about this one is the LiDAR. The LiDAR thing is suspicious to me at the time that they're throwing in, and it's a neat effect. I'm not going to lie, it's a neat effect here, and it's probably one of the most impressive things I've seen out of Test Track. Test Track, I remember heading to Walt Disney World in a car going about probably 80 miles an hour, which is, I'm going to say 10 over the speed limit. And getting there and seeing the sign to say that on Test Track, you could go 60 miles an hour. And thinking to myself, okay, well, you done it, guys. Great. How in the world did you achieve this? So Test Track has been kind of like, it's not quite a thrill ride to me. So it has to be the dark ride aspect that sells it. For me. So I've never been a huge Test Track fan, but the LiDAR effect is cool, but it also points out a little bit of Disney hypocrisy to me.
It's fake LiDAR, though.
It is fake LiDAR, and fake and LiDAR go hand in hand, along with Disney and Mark Rober.
Don't even get me started.
No, that's actually where we're going with this.
Oh, really? Cool.
Yes.
I mean, with the embrace of LiDAR, I mean, just anything to hurt Elon after he told Bob what he told him, right?
Right. So, okay, there's interesting dynamics playing out here. Let's go ahead and set the stage here, Jonas. So, Test Track is obviously sponsored by GM, General Motors, right? General Motors, the CEO of General Motors, I believe she's on a certain board, Mary Barra. What board is she on? Oh, yeah. On the Disney board, isn't she? So makes sense that Disney would invest yet again into Test Track, especially before doing something with the Imagination Pavilion. I have no idea. But okay, we're going to go ahead and get another version of this. Now, in my opinion, what it looked like to me when I saw the initial concept art was that they were trying to forward the concept of EV or green vehicles. And there are so many different references to green vehicles within the attraction's queue and on the attraction itself that I thought that that's where they were going. But they held back a little bit, and I can only presume because, well, GM hasn't really done that well with selling their EV vehicles. Maybe they took a step back from that and didn't deliver it quite as hard on the attraction itself. But then there is this LiDAR situation. Jonas, go ahead and set the table for us so that everybody is in on the interesting thing about this.
A while back, and I'm not as clean as Vash in trying to put these things on the stage in such a nice way. There was a video from Mark Rober not long ago called "Can You Fool a Self-Driving Car?" The overlying premise of the video is, can you fool a Tesla, or is LiDAR superior? And he says LiDAR is superior. And if you've seen the video, that's the thing that you leave with, is that he fooled a LiDAR under very suspicious and specific circumstances here. But during the video, he goes to Disney and he says that he sneaks a LiDAR camera into Disneyland. And this is him. This is Mark Rober pretending to go through security at Disney, and they're checking his he puts like a Canon logo or something like that on it, and he gets a LiDAR image of Space Mountain. There's his LiDAR camera, by the way, here. And it gives an explanation of why LiDAR is great. And anyways, he's talking about going through Space Mountain. All right. So in looking for this, I thought, well, he worked with Imagineering. So I'm just going to put in Mark Rober Imagineering here. And this is what popped up. At the same time, Mark Rober was literally visiting Imagineering. There's a video 3 months ago on the Mark Rober channel, 24 million views, defeating the Tesla with the superiority of a LiDAR camera, and also Mark Rober literally working with Imagineering here. So here's what I'm alleging. Allegedly, Mark Rober has this BS video about how LiDAR is the superior technology while working with a company that is heavily entrenched with GM, and GM using LiDAR technology in Test Track, trying to discredit Teslas, which have, he also, for those of you not familiar with Teslas, and I don't own a Tesla, I've only driven a Tesla a handful of times. I've driven the Cybertruck, drives like a giant go-kart. Not a fan of the way they drive, but full self-drive works. It's not what they used in these videos. I'm calling a little bit of bologna sausage here on Mark Rober and his fake video sneaking into Disney, and his interestingly timed support of LiDAR at the same time that General Motors is working with Disney on putting LiDAR into Test Track to try to sell General Motors vehicles. Anyway,
we did an article on this video when it came out, pointing out all the inconsistencies and all the head scratching moments. AI Driver also has a great video breaking it down, where he actually seems to believe that Mark Rober actually disengages FSD.
He does,
as it drives through the and look, as somebody who, I'll pull the curtain back, drives a Tesla. He definitely does. like you see him do it with the stock. And by the way, it's the greatest car in the world.
And they made a point about this in this attraction, this kind of LiDAR technology. They actually produced a video all on it. And from what I can tell, it was installed at great expense. It's probably the most expensive thing that they put into this attraction outside of that big old screen that they have at the very end. Yeah, well, it's a lot of lights, though. That's the thing. Jonas, do you have more on this?
Oh, well, yeah, I have the article from that Park Place pulled up, and you all need to read it. It's that one, the one with the Tesla in it. It's just very convenient timing when it comes down to it. By the way, the test was, could a Tesla see a child that is behind a wall of water? Well, can a human see a child that's behind a wall of water? No. So the video itself is very unscientific, and came at a time when it seems very interesting that there would be anti-Elon sentiment in a scientific community that was very pro-Elon for a very long time. So didn't seem very scientific. That's all.
And it was it wasn't even a wall of water. It was like a wall it was like a Wile E. Coyote wall. It was like it was like a painting. It was painted to look like the road. So
and
I'm just the man.
Cutaways as well. So the Wile E. Coyote wall, there were cutaways to make it look even more dramatic. Well. I'm not going to cut you off there, Marvin. If I did that, I apologize.
No, you didn't.
I'm just gonna say that this is probably not a great look for Disney right now, because as we bring this to light for everybody, people are going to be like, yeah, well, it's sour grapes from GM for losing between $2 and $4 billion a year on their EVs that they try to sell anyway. So you're looking at a company that's trying to get to zero to break even on their electric cars, and they can't. And now with the reduction of subsidies, which will happen on EVs, they're never going to be profitable on their EVs, which is, it's always been the hurdle that everybody needs to overcome. Do you know who's profitable on their EVs? Raise your hand, everybody.
Is it Tesla?
It's Tesla. Yeah.
Well, the Model Y, I believe I saw a statistic recently. The Model Y is the most popular car in the United States, and
they're the best.
Just start looking around as you drive down the road, guys. Like, look around and just see how many of them are on the road. There is one name and one name only in electric vehicles, and that's because many of them are affordable now. They have the best technology, and and they have the best range of all the other EVs, and the Tesla supercharging network, which is massive.
Yeah, I'm holding out for a Slate Auto though. That's my kind of car. Very basic, almost nothing in it. It's just wheels and a steering wheel. Maybe it comes with windows, and it happens to be an EV, right?
Interesting. Well, look, this is a very curious situation, and we can only speculate as to what Disney's involvement actually looks like. But it's just, you just have a lot of dots as that LiDAR, special effect actually featured in Test Track 2.0 actually exhibits. There's a lot of dots in a lot of different places, and hey, maybe you at home can connect them. Well, for us though, I don't know. Like, a lot of people are giving this Test Track 3.0 a lot of compliments here, and I will say, looks okay. It looks pretty good as far as Test Track actually goes. Nothing mind blowing here. There's nothing earth shattering, but apparently people they felt differently, because from what I understand, the preview day, the first day of pass all the previews for Test Track now sold out for Epcot. So that's a very interesting thing. A lot of people are excited for this attraction to be back. You can see right here the pass all the preview dates: July 13th, 14th, 15th, 16th, 18th, and the 19th. Looks like it will be from 7 a.m. to 1 p.m. virtual queue to join that preview. But when this attraction opens, virtual queue will not actually be part of it, which is very, very interesting. And I think this, the statistic actually bared this out here by Drew Disney Do. Test Track 3.0 will be the first attraction to officially open at Walt Disney World, that on July 22nd, that is, with a standby line since Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway on March 4th, 2020. 1,966 days since that's happened. So that's pretty good. No VQ for this when it opens. You can just stand by line if you'd like to, or I'm guessing you can purchase a Lightning Lane. In fact, I believe Scott Houston has some of the details right here for us. Here we go. Test Track will be available using Lightning Lane Multipass. Test Track will be a Tier 1 attraction during pre-planning, along with Frozen Ever After and Remy's Ratatouille Adventure. Soarin' moves to the second tier. Interesting stuff, indeed. So they're expecting a lot of visitation for this specific attraction right here. So there you go. One sort of new attraction, Walt Disney World in 2025. I don't think it's gonna get any guests over from Epic Universe. We'll see.
Test Track is not the there was a time when Test Track was the e-ticket ride of Epcot. I mean, it was a big deal in Epcot, but now since Guardians has opened, it's not really, nobody really gives it much thought anymore, I don't think.
I don't think so. And well, Culture and I know this. Compared to Radiator Springs Racers, no comparison.
Yeah.
That's the other thing about this as well.
Yeah, look, this ride has a history of issues. I think they're constantly trying to reinvent this ride system in a way that they will have more success in Florida. A lot of it has to do with the indoor-outdoor nature, and it has to shut down during rain and hail, because let me tell you, it hurts to ride on this on rain and hail. It's very, very painful. We mock the 65 mile an hour speed that it reaches or attains, and yet once you go outside and either you're being baked by the sun and the humidity, well, I guess that'd be roasted, or you are being like absolutely destroyed by rain and hail. This thing can be not the best.
The GM sponsorship, I had a quick question about this because I remember Chevy being the sponsor beforehand. So did they switch it over?
Chevy is a GM brand.
Oh, it is. I know nothing about
Yeah.
So GM was the listed sponsor, right, to public-facing guests for the first version of Test Track. Then that switched with version 2. Why? Because GM got a big bailout from the government to not actually shut down, and they felt that, well, optics-wise, wouldn't be a good look if we outwardly sponsored Test Track 2.0, so they put the Chevy brand in there instead, and now it's back to the GM brand. So that's kind of the history there.
You know who I feel bad for, Vash? The poor salespeople that stand outside Test Track in the exit queue and try to sell you cars. Who's buying a car at Disney World?
Apparently enough to facilitate paying maybe those salesmen. Hopefully they don't just work a commission. Oh, that's
I really hope they don't.
Well, this is one of this is one of the few attractions that through every iteration at Epcot has retained the same sponsor. That can't be said for other things like
that's true.
Spaceship Earth and things like that.
Yeah.
This one, when it was World of Motion originally, which had a pretty big cost at $44 million during development. Even back then, it was still GM. I've been on everything that used to be there and all of the new things except for this now that it's reopening. So, but yeah, I'm not too keen on rushing to see this because there are 1,000 better attractions just down the road at this place called Epic.
That's the thing. This is a 25-year-old attraction,
Long time.
Maybe a 30-year-old concept. And so it's like, okay, we're going to reinvigorate it again. Sure, you're going to get enhanced viewership from that. But when compared to the mind-blowing stuff at Epic that's been custom built from the roaring 20s, as some people call it, are people necessarily going to be as impressed with this? I don't think so. Look, this is a good refurbishment by Disney's standards, but what's the competition? I think that's the thing. So look, I'm glad we got something, but understand why you got it. It's GM, Murray Barr is on the board. This is why we got this. LiDAR, all of that. But very interesting stuff indeed.
Thanks for watching That Park Plays News. For more information, consider checking out www.thatparkplace.com. And don't forget to subscribe, share, like, and send this out on your favorite social media account.